Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis volume 52. Again, we're going to be taking a look at the charts, give you some of our pairs and our predictions. We're actually going to take a look at gold and USD CAD tomorrow, just because we want to clear up some things like usual. But we'll take a look at the pairs for this week already. So we'll take a look at Euro USD for our first one. So what we looked at for this week was a potential retracement. Now we did see a price starting to move towards the upside, so that's perfectly fine. As we can see here, we've made a bit of a different low as previously marked. So now the low is at roughly at 1.183, as you can see. Obviously, the main question here is how it's going to retrace is another story in itself. So what you need to be aware of is price can make a much deeper retracement within this area. So as long as price stays below this high of the market, we should be able to stay within this range and push lower, which I am anticipating to take out this low now. So now that we've got a structure low being formed, we can use this as a potential target in the future for any long-term pushes to the downside. So let's just say price does return to the 618 fib, and it does come to this level, and then we see some rejection. And if we do hold it to the downside, that's a good 250 pips. So again, there's a lot of reward up for grabs here. And like I say, I don't really take any trades unless it's really worth the reward. Now, again, this is just something that we are looking for the long term. So what this could mean is, you could potentially see price make its way to the upside and to the downside, and then finally to the upside, making all this confusion within this range. But just remember that this is the swing high and this is the swing low. So just remember that as long as price stays below this high, we should be still bearish within this market. So yeah, that's pretty much where my thoughts are with Euro USD. Still the same as last week. Let's just see how price retraces and performs next week. So taking a look at Nzd USD. So yeah, we pretty much saw a rejection off of this zone here. I was actually anticipating price to go just below it, but as we can see, price has now created some nice support on this range. So my analysis towards the upside and the retracement is still valid. I do think that we could still make a bit more of a retracement. So as we can see, price is stepping up nice and slowly. So yeah, as long as price is staying below this high of the market, we should be able to see a continuation to the downside. As we can see, price is slowly stepping up, so we can see some lower time frame structures being changed. Now, this doesn't mean that this support will definitely hold. You could potentially see something like this. So this is just just a pre-warning. But if price does break this low, I will be watching for price to potentially make a way to the upside still, and to return into this area. So I'll just leave it as a little marking, just to just as a little reminder. But ideally, I just want to see price come into this area within this range and this space here. And see if we can actually take a turn around to the downside, and we will be anticipating a target of 0.69 as a secondary target, but ideally we want to see this low being taken out first, and that's if price hasn't taken this low out already to the upside, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much where I stand for with NZD. Take a look on AUD USD. Again, I'm going to be running through this pretty fast because there's not really much to discuss. Again, we can see that our analysis is playing out. Again, it's just coming to again, waiting for the correct moment to hold a position and see it run through. So as we can see, price is retracing as we spoke about last week, so we can get rid of this annotation, or this arrow rather. So yeah, where I'm looking at for this is, let's take a look at the 618 fib. you know, price could come into this area. So I'm looking at how price responds to that 618, seeing if there is any rejection of some sort. I'm not saying necessarily we will get an exact retracement or an exact rejection of the 618. Again, guys, it's just a guideline that I'm looking to follow, but we can see here that prices made a swing low very clearly here, and as structures changing towards the upside, I'm looking for price to give us some direction to the downside still, as long as price is staying below this high in the market. So price can come all the way, it could come all the way up here and then have that turnover, but again, remember that the main focus here is for price to turn around. So again, this could happen at any point. Again, just make sure you're aware of the direction that we're looking at, and again, align it to your own strategy and your own entry criteria. Of course, that's what we shall be doing. So we're just waiting for price to possibly make a bit more of a retracement towards the upside before we can get that push lower, and to anticipate this being our target here, and then our second target to be this one here. So again, we do have a lot of pips up for grabs, so about 250 to 300 pips there. So a lot of pips up for grabs. So yeah, hopefully these ideas are something of value to you guys. So let's take a look at UJ. So UJ, we can see that price is potentially changing structure to the downside. Now, what I actually spoke about last week was the roadmap that I'm kind of looking to take for UJ. So this is essentially still holding for now. I'm looking at price staying, making a bit more of a stronger retracement lower, and that's based on the fact of this huge higher time frame trend that's being formed here. So I hope you guys can see this. This is a very strong move to the upside. So I'm not looking for this move to the downside to be ever so strong. So that's why I'm looking to see if we could get a retest on the downtrend here. This is the higher time frame trend line being drawn here. But as we spoke about last week, we were looking for some downside potential. There is a potential that we are looking at this right now. So price could drop off immediately to the downside as long as price stays below this high here. But this again is on a lower time frame. But as we can see, price is starting to take a dip anyway. So let's just see if this high in the market, this current high in the market stays. If price stays below this high, then we should be able to see a much more stronger continuation lower. Yeah, we'll see if we can target this range or this downtrend here. So there's a good 250 pips again, and like I said, this little roadmap is something that I wanted to pinpoint. So again, the long-term vision for me is to take a buy and run this higher to take out this high or wherever this high comes from, but like I said, there's still a lot of pips to take to the downside and to the upside. So again, just under 300, and then towards the upside is just over 300 again. So ridiculous amount of pips here. Again, these are all the trading ideas that I wanted to share with you guys, because there's a lot of the purpose of the full market analysis is to give you some ideas and some trading ideas, and this is purely out of my own my thoughts. So don't obviously take this as financial advice. These are some of my own predictions that I can use for my own accountability when I post my own trades, etc. So again, this is all to help you guys as much as possible. And again, we do have a trading group that you can join, like I will mention at the end of the video. But yeah, it's in the link in the description. You can get through to me as much as you want, and ask me as much as you can. But yeah, so we are looking at this downside move, and then following that up with the upside, we should be able to see something like this in the future. But again, I don't think this is anytime soon. Like I say, and if we take a look at the time frame below, this could happen between end of April to mid-March, etc. So yeah, we'll see how UJ plays out over the next few days or so. So taking a look at CAD. So yeah, we can see that price is still stepping up. It still has that power towards the upside. So I'm not really going to take this any further in terms of trading opportunities for this week. What I am anticipating is a potential turnaround at some point. So I am looking at this area of the market right now as a potential turnaround. I'm not saying it will definitely turn at this point, so don't place any orders here at all. That's not what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to look at the market and really take a look at what price action is doing first before you start to jump in. But yeah, ideally I want to see price come to this level and see how it responds, see what exactly happens. But I am anticipating at some point a retracement or some sort of decline at some point. So whether the price makes an advance towards the upside this week, or if we get something like this, or if we get something like this where we just get that drop off. So that's something that we are looking out for as we speak. I do believe that as price is still pushing higher, we should, if we take a look at the RSI, we can see that there was some divergence here. Now, as you can see, divergence doesn't always play out, as we can see through multiple times. So this is why you have to tie it in with some external other some other factors, such as price action, momentum, EMAs, any other indicators. So you don't just trade purely off the RSI, because you'll just be left hanging in the no man's land. So as you can see, divergence has played here, but we've clearly broken it off. So it's clear to me that we still have some potential to push higher, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were able to find something like this through the week or for the next few days or so, where we get a push at the downside and an advance and then the drop off. So that is a possibility that I am keeping an eye out for. But we'll carry on through this CAD JPY through the week and through the the next week's full market analysis. So again, it's all there to play for. Again, just have to stay patient with this one. So yeah, let's take a look at EJ. So with Euro JPY, we can see prices still pushing up higher. I was looking for pushes still to the upside. What we can see now is price still stepping up. Again, now we're waiting for this turnaround in the market. I do believe that price is exhausted. If we take a look at the RSI, we can see that very clearly. So we can see that there is a form of divergence here. Again, if you see that divergence there, then that the price action and the peaks are different towards the RSI peaks. So we can see that there is a potential turnaround at some point. Now, this is where we have to stay patient into the markets and just wait for a turnaround. So whether the price drops off immediately or if we get a push to the upside, that's something that that you have to wait, and something that I can't predict. So you just have to use your intuition, use your price action knowledge, and your own trading plan, and see exactly what's going to happen. And again, it just comes down to your own attention towards and how much time you put into this. So again, I'm looking for this turnaround to the downside and to see if we can take out some lows in the market here. So we'll see exactly what happens with EJ next week. Let's take a look at Nzd Jpy. So again, we do have a lot of alerts here. I've got some drawn out. So what we spoke about last week was this consolidation area. We can see how price has broken towards the upside. And this is one area of the market that I was considering for price to do. So we can get rid of this downside opportunity now, and let's take a look at what we can see now. So we can see that we've broken out of this consolidation area. We are stepping up. Now the main thing that I am looking out for is this high here to be broken, potential. So what we could see is price to come up one more time before we get that drop. And that's something that we could be looking out for. So I'm just going to personally just focus on this move here. I'm not going to look at price coming back up just as yet. I want to focus just on the just on the first move that I want to anticipate first, and then we can see how price reacts. So ideally I want to see price come to test this uptrend to take out all these lows of the market here. Potentially we could come to this zone here. It's not likely, but we'll see how if there is any strength moving forward. So that's a 76 flat. So we'll see how price makes a run. If we can get this move, that's a good 150 odd pips. So again, I like that reward. So we'll see how price responds over the next few weeks or so. So now let's take a look at our next pair, so Aud Jpy, and after this we'll have one more pair. So what we're looking at for AJ was this consolidation area. We see that price has stepped up to the upside now, so we can get rid of the downside opportunity. We can also get rid of this as well because we are actually very close towards its upside limit. So I'm actually going to give some continuation moves to the upside just in case price does move. Now there is one thing. So what I'm looking at here is we're still stepping up quite strongly. I'm quite convinced that we could push higher than this right now. This is something that I've been watching through the week. I was quite curious to see how price responds, but what I was looking out for from the previous weeks was a potential move to the upside, which you saw to break out this consolidation area, and then to see if price could break to the downside. Now, the thing for me as well is that the RSI is not really looking of like there's any divergence at all. So there is a potential that price could break this high and continuate. And if it does, then we will have to come back with another analysis video. But what I was anticipating is that price was to drop to the downside and do something like this. I'm going to still keep this as an opportunity here, just in case price does make its way to the downside at some point. I just want to stay focused with this area. I mean, we do have a small amount of level for price action to invalidate if it's going to either be an upside move or if it's going to be a downside move. So as long as price stays below this level in the market, we should be able to push lower. But if we do see price push higher, then we could still potentially move higher. So that's something that we need to be aware of and not lose sight of that. But yeah, let's see what happens. So there's a very small amount of area here to be fixed on. So we'll see what happens. There is this, I'm going to give you these two considerations just to follow. So hopefully this doesn't leave you too confused, but we'll see exactly what happens. Okay, guys. So USD Chef. Now this one has been, pretty much moving, pretty much in a way that we've anticipated. Let's just say we can see that we've had the push to the upside, so let's just get rid of this. What we are actually anticipating for this pair is a slight drop off or a slight sell off. So as we can see here, what we're trying to anticipate is some sort of retracement at some point just to help this trend towards the upside to continuate. And like I always mentioned, that in order for a trend to be healthy, it needs to have the healthy corrections involved. So we can see that as long as price stays below this high of the market, we should be able to continuate lower. Now, whether the price drops off immediately or if we continue to drop off, that's another story. So what I am anticipating is price to make further continuations lower based on the price staying below this low. Now, if price doesn't go below, if price does go above this high, you can be confident that we will be pushing higher, and it could be something like this as a continuation towards the upside. So it's something as simple as that. Like I think it's pretty. It's just a simple retest trade that that you could be looking out for. Again, it just depends on the level of the market. And again, on where your support levels are, of course. So again, another tight level to keep an eye out for. But again, as long as price stays below this level, we should be able to continue lower. And if not, we should be able to push higher if we do break this level. So again, I know that on this channel that I normally do give you a nice direction. Sometimes we can't give you that because obviously we can't predict everything exactly, but I will give you as much confidence in these trading ideas as I can. So you know, me giving you two options, I know obviously there's only buy and sell in the market, but when it comes really close to an invalidation level, it's worth me, you know, giving you that idea just in case price does come back to break all those invalidation levels, so you know exactly what you're doing. So yeah, that is my intentions for you know, for this week. We'll see exactly how it all plays out. We are going to look at gold and USD CAD for tomorrow. And again, I do appreciate your time for watching this video. If you haven't joined our trading group already, feel free to join it. That link is in the description. Feel free to follow us on our Instagram, and if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer. You know, just reach out to me. So that'll be all from us. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you all in our next video.